Right folks, welcome back to RC Cars UK. Paddy with you here again as usual, and you'll notice we've got the Kyosho DRX GP in front of us. Now as you can see, it's looking a little worse for wear. Now what I've decided to do is the best way to test functionality and the most entertaining way for you guys is to actually run it first before I strip it all down properly and give it a full resto. So what I'm going to do today is resto to the point where I'm just getting it running basically. So I'm just making sure that everything's okay. There's no problems with anything. Everything's all aligned properly and it can run. So I'll go out and I'll run it tomorrow before I strip it all down. And it's going to have a new chassis, a proper centre diff and a couple of other bits and bobs, because this is a plastic spurred centre diff, so we're going to swap that out for a proper one. So where are we going to start with this little pumpkin? We're going to start with the biggest problem, which was the engine. So what was the problem with the engine? As you may have noted from the first video that we did in this little mini series, which was part 1, we touched upon the fact that the previous owner had got rid of this car because previous owner stated that there was an air leak from just under here. And there was, when you pulled the pull start, you could hear the sp, 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 which is obviously a telltale sign of a leak. So the first place that I wanted to look was head button. So looked down and realised that actually it's not a separate head button at all. It's moulded into the heatsink. You can see that he's been running a little lean there, I reckon. But not a problem, because actually all that was required to fix that was a simple tightening of these 4 bolts in here. So your heatsink and your head button bolts basically just needed tightening in here. So what colour have we got here? We've got a decent colour there. I've seen a lot worse. It's not too bad. Top of the piston here. He's not used after run oil, which is a bit of a shame. I can see that is just residue of fuel. So if we want to inspect our piston sleeve walls, we can do that now. If I try and zoom in, it might help you see it a little better. So I can't see much obvious scoring. What I'm looking for here, as I look down the top of the piston sleeve and look at the walls, is for scratches that go horizontal, up and down, yeah? I'm looking for vertical scratches going up and down. I'm not looking for horizontal marks. Can't see any horizontal marks. I can see that there's a top dead center fuel mark there, but that's fine. That's expected. It's perfectly normal. You can see it's a perpendicular mark all the way around, so that's fine. What we were checking for is to make sure that the top of that piston isn't dented or blown out or scored. You'll also be able to tell when you pull that, if your piston does go up and down, then you'll notice that that it hasn't thrown a rod or a crank or anything like that, so you're fine. So what are we going to do? We are going to get a gasket kit and a new head. The owner supplied us with a brand new head. So here is the old and here is the new heatsink head. Obviously, just like the old one, it has a head button built into it. Fantastic. You'll note it is a different colour. That's because I believe this head is off a DBX buggy and this head was specific to the DRX GP because it matched the blue anodised chassis. It also has some rather god-awful anodising on those shock absorbers as well. But new part, fantastic. So one thing that you will note when you change your heatsink, these are incredibly thin. These crush-up washers are so thin that if I put any sort of pressure on there, it would create a fold line and it would not bend back properly. What would happen is it would snap when you're trying to bend it back. Sometimes you find that these are made out of copper. Most times now you'll find them made out of a much cheaper alloy. But you will want to make sure that they are sat on just so. Something like that, absolutely perfect. And there we go, we're on. So we just need to tighten our bolts on there now. And as well as looking nice and fresh, obviously don't get me wrong, I know I've not cleaned anything up yet. I know I've not properly restored this. This is the whole point. What we're going to go and do is we're going to get this running, and we're going to go and take it out, and we're going to go give it a proper run, and then we're going to bring it back and start changing parts for performance upgrades. So I want to show you this as stock basically, and then we can gauge from the sort of how the modifications that I've done have taken an effect for the better or for the worse. So that's a little bit of a journey. So what I'm going to do now is going to take my 4 bolts that I took out the old head, and I'm going to go and pop them into here, make sure they're torqued down nice and tight in a clockwork pattern. Right, so our new heatsink and head button is in place. The bolts have been torqued down in a clockwork pattern, so the head is nice and evenly tightened. The gaskets are obviously in place, the little silver gaskets that you saw there. So that's that issue well and truly sorted. So we're on our way to getting this running. Like I said, we just want to get this to running stage so we can give this a test in stock form. And to do that, we're going to need to sort our second problem. So second problem is also engine based. What we're checking for now is just like when we were checking our Venturi before for our piston sleeve for scores. What we are searching here for is anything large amounts of debris, and fantastically, one thing you will notice that there's a return spring on the throttle. Now, we've discussed this in the past with renovations of RC. You'll notice that it's been left closed. Yeah, this all needs oiling, by the way, that's why it's a little stiff, but this has been left closed. Fantastic, because that means that no debris, if you leave it open like this, debris can fall down here and it can get stuck, bits of the foam filter. When these foam filters inside get nitro fuel on them, you can see that it degrades the foam to a point where it will just literally fall to pieces, and it'll fall down here and it'll get stuck in your lower crankcase, in all the little joins. Possibly your carb jet will get blocked up and stuff like that. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about that because we've just seen that the carb has been left closed all that time, so fantastic. What I will do now is go and get a little bit of a cotton bud, dip it in some nitro fuel, and just gently swish around the inside of the carb venturi here on the walls to remove any debris. Then I will fill this hole with a bit of silly putty or a bit of Play-Doh once it's been cleaned inside, and then I will proceed to clean the outside, because you can see the outside is a little grubby as well. I can see bits of all sorts on there. So that is stage 2 complete in some ways, because our visual check of the carb venturi has proven it to be clear, so that's fantastic. So what can we move on to? Air filter is definitely going to need a check-in, so let's check that now. If you actually see on here, another thing that I said, like I said, this car's had a bit of a tough life, I assume. You'll notice that there's some play on this splash-proof air filter here. Not great, because it's letting a load of debris into the filter itself. Let's go and take this off and we'll have a close. Alright, let's see what we find inside. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, yeah. See? I mean, it's always worth checking these things, isn't it? And there you go. That is one pretty tarnished filter right there. I think you will agree with me that has seen better days. Much like the whole car, I think it's been well loved, not very well maintained. So I will go and pop a new filter on this before we do anything else. Oh my giddy aunt, look how bad that is on one side. See, there you go, and that's what I mean about the nitro fuel. Just gently pulling on that. That's been soaked in oil and nitro fuel, that, and it's just disintegrated, unfortunately. But worth checking. So there's point 3. Right, so as we're working our way through our list of things to do before we actually get this thing tested and on the road for some stock fun, we need to obviously ensure that there is power to the RX pack. If it has, like I suspect, yes it does, the little AA battery cage. It doesn't look too old, but these are prone to failure so much back in the day. I mean, before the days of even hump packs came out, these things were just a bane of existence for a lot of hobbyists, because of how frequently they would fail just for no reason, basically. So yeah, that's going to be fun. So pop some batteries in this now, pop some batteries in the TX, and we'll give it a whirl and see if it actually powers on. Right, so we've got some cheap AAs in the back of here now. Will it power on? Yes, we do have power. Fantastic. We'll set our trims up in a moment. Will this power on? No. So there you go. This is what I'm saying about these. So if we leave the power on, it will help us diagnose what's at fault there. I would imagine this power cable, what you can do a lot of time as well is negate that switch and just plug the pack straight into the receiver itself. Let's see if that helps. So we have a buzzing, guys, so that's a good sign. So it just actually needed a little rotate around. You can actually hear it if you listen. There's some grit in here. It's hard to hear on the camera, but I'm picking it up with my own ears. There's a little bit of grit in there, so that I need blowing out of an air compressor. That. But let's check. We have throttle. We do have throttle. Is it opening the carb? Well enough. So air idle gap's a little low. It looks like it's a little below the 0.9, 0.8 that I'm looking for. But we've got full open on the carb barrel, so that's good. Do we have brake? Yes, we do have brake. Do we have steering? We have a servo that's trying to steer, but it's not steering all that much. Is the dual rate up? Let's have a look. I believe it is. The steering dual rate is set down at 0. So that's why that's so weak. Let's see. There we go, that's better. Now I will trim that up properly because it seems to want to be pointing to the right slightly. But it's not a problem, the trim's way off. Let's move that back to the middle somewhere. We're somewhere about there. We're not far off now. So one last thing to check before we go out running. What are the condition of the tyres? Well, they all seem okay, but I've noticed there's an ominous little lump in that one there, and I think it's broke a bead on the back of there. So what I will go and do is I will go and pop a couple of different tyres on it and make sure it's okay to actually run it tomorrow, so you can see what it's like in stock form. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and stay tuned for part 3, which will be the stock test of this car, the Kyosho DRX GP Nitro 19 Subaru Impreza. Thanks very much for watching, guys. See you soon.